Well, Rob, obviously the last time we saw you was October. I know at the time, after the loss to Darren Elkins, you were not a happy man with the way things played out. Now you've had a little time to reflect on it. Give me your thoughts on that fight and maybe any kind of lessons you took out of it.
I can't even remember the last time I seen you, so that's how much I'm thinking on it. It's well out my thoughts now, but I can remember at the time it was a frustrating night. The only thing that makes it a little bit easier is he's been on another win streak, and he's beating the guys in the same fashion as he beat me, and he's going to make it in the top 10 again. So he's made a career out of beating guys that style of fighting, and unfortunately I was one of those guys that was on the end of it. But you know, it's one of those nights that you don't like to look back into too much.
Yeah, you mentioned the style of fighting. I mean, at the end of the day, the sport is about wins and losses, but it's also about entertainment too, right? So I mean, when you go through a fight like that, how do you start to balance things out, knowing that I still want to be fun, but I got to pick up wins too?
Yeah, I mean, I could have turned it into a grappling fest, and then it would have been a snooze fest. You know, I could have easily went back to grappling with him wrestling, but it's a shit fight. Who the fuck wants to watch that? You know what I mean? So I thought I'll bide my time and I'll wait to get a chance, and as soon as I connect with this guy, I'm going to put him to sleep. But he took the shots great, man. You know, I don't think I've hit anybody harder than I hit him, and he just came forward and jumped in a single leg again and took me down. You know, but every time I got back to my feet, I thought one more shot and he's going to sleep. But it didn't work out that way, and sometimes that's the way the cookie crumbles.
So it's been 6 months since we've seen you, and what were you doing in the interim? I mean, would it take that long to get booked, or was there something going on?
I mean, well, every fight you come out with some kind of injury. You know, it's the nature of the beast, and put that together with training camps, so you're always going to pick up some injuries. So that fight, I came out, my left ear was hanging off my head, had to get that glued back on, 6 stitches down my forehead, fractured orbital, broken nose. So it took me a little while to get back into training, and yeah, that's just it. And as soon as you're fit, then that's when you can get booked again. So it took about 3 or 4 months until I was ready to fight again. Then another 2 months, 3 months for a fight to materialise. So yeah, it's just that's part of the sport, I suppose.
Well, obviously preparing again at American Top Team. Talk to me about the experience of being down there and kind of what you've been focused on.
I mean, again, every camp starts in Glasgow at the Grip House. That's my home gym in Scotland. They get me in great shape for heading down to American Top Team. You turn up out of shape, there you'll know about it. So I prepare myself before I go. And Dan Lambert's done a great job of getting a new 40,000 square feet facility. And I lived up in the dorms this time, so it was a piece of cake for me. You know, one elevator lift, and I was in the gym. I wake up in the morning, have a coffee, and I look out the window into the gym, and I've got to pinch myself, you know, because the gym back home in Scotland, it rains, the water comes in through the ceiling, and fucking training second-hand mats, and there I am, this multi-million pound facility. You know, I've got to pinch myself sometimes and stay humble and remember where I came from. So he's done a great job there, and on top of that, we've got great coaches, fighters, and the facility just tops off. It's amazing.
Junior Los Santos was getting ready for a headlining bout. I wonder, it's not like you two guys are rolling together, obviously, but when you got a guy that's preparing for a headlining bout, I wonder, does it bring kind of a special energy?
I mean, if Junior had it his way, we'd be rolling. You know, that's he's like, he fucking messes around a lot. He's a big kid stuck in a man's body. You've always got to watch your back. He's trying to grab you or take you down or something. You know, he's fucking crazy. And of course, he's the main event, so it's always special when you get a main event, and he's a heavyweight. So even after my training's done and my sparring's over and the big guys come in, it's good to hang around and watch him get prepared, because he's fighting Ben Rothwell. You know, he's a big hitter, big guy, so he gets training sparring partners in to mimic that. So it was good to see some of the blows they were unleashing on each other.
Very nice. Well, let's talk about your fight. I think one that a lot of people are looking forward to. Lucas Martins had a couple losses, but very talented guy. We'll talk about the matchup. How do you think you guys match up together?
I mean, it's a great matchup. You know, he's fought an opponent in me and Darren Elkins, and again, he made him look bad. You can't take anything from that. He fought my teammate Mursad Bektik. So, as in for style matchup, he's had 2 grapplers and I've had a grappler, so I'm sure both of us are fucking sick of that. So I'm sure we're going to go in there and throw leather, and someone's got to go sleep early, and it's going to be him. So I'm excited about it, and I'm sure the fans are as well.
You're the featured Fight Pass event. It's kind of a new thing that everybody's kind of getting used to, but what do you feel about that role? It's a little bit of responsibility.
Yeah, I mean, I think I've been on first fight out in UFC 171. I've been second fight out. I've been third fight out, and now my featured bout. You know, the fights just keep getting bigger and bigger, and that comes with the territory in the UFC. Start from the bottom, work your way up. To me, it doesn't matter which part of the card I'm on, top to bottom. I couldn't care less. You know, I've got a job to do. I can get out there to have fun and entertain people, and I'm lucky I'm getting to do it in UFC Fight Pass.
I know a lot of people are really, tabbing you as kind of a hot prospect, so to speak, but you turn 33 next week, right? So
2 days after the event, I turned 33.
yeah, so I just wonder, I mean, I think a lot of people are excited about your future and what you bring to the table, but certainly you can't fight forever as well. I mean, is there any type of moment that you feel like it's got to start being now, it's not about being part of the future?
I mean, I still feel like I'm 16, it's fucking crazy, I'm 33 next week, but I still feel like a kid. Growing up, what is it you say? Growing up is mandatory. Growing old is mandatory. Growing up is optional, and I choose the latter. So I feel great. My body feels great. I've matured into a great fighter now. I take everything in my stride. I know nothing's new to me. So for me, the fight game's easier. It's getting easier, and I'm getting better. It's not like I'm getting into new environments or new situations. So for me, I'm just getting better as time goes on. Like a good Scottish whiskey, I get better as time goes on. And again, you get to UFC. It's not about prolonging your career or thinking down the line I'm going to go for this or this win streak or I'm looking to hit that spot there. It's now, the time's now, you know what I mean? I'm here in the big stage, I'm here in the UFC, so as far as that, every fight I take, I'm looking to climb that ladder. There's no backward steps, there's no running forward and getting 10 steps ahead of myself. I'm just there and I'm ready to do my job.
Very nice. Well, when you play this one out in your head, how do you see this one going down?
I've played it, every fight's different, but always you have crazy dreams coming up to fights and stuff, and you run the fight through your head so many times. Fuck, I've lost count many times and how many ways I've won. It's just crazy. I try to visualise it, and I can see myself catching him in a submission. It's crazy. I fucking hate grappling. Fuck, I detest it. And my coach Mike Brown, he's fucking always on my case because I'm pretty good at grappling, and I hold my own, and he's always on me like, you should just stick with this grappling or try this. So I think he's mentally put it in my fucking head, and I see myself catching him in a submission, but the old fighter comes back to me and I see myself knocking him out. I never go in there to point score or run out a decision. I always try and take people's heads off, and I can see Lucas Martins getting woken up unconscious. That's in my head. That's the fighter in me. That's what I can see happening.